Beloved ones, let us remember, money is not a mystery, nor is it a cruel master. Money is a servant of divine law. It comes when we call it, it multiplies when we bless it, and it obeys the voice of faith. The universe is never poor. The divine source is infinite. If the supply is infinite, how then can you ever lack? Lack is only an illusion created by fear and doubt. But the moment you speak words of power, the moment you align with the eternal law of supply, the floodgates of abundance swing wide open. Your words are not empty, they are seeds. Plant seeds of wealth, and wealth must spring forth. When you declare, "Money flows to me in perfect ways under grace," you are issuing a command to the unseen forces of life. Heaven and earth rearrange themselves to fulfill your decree. Imagination is your blueprint of riches. See yourself prosperous, debt-free, joyful, and generous. Hold the picture with confidence, and the picture will hold you. Fear whispers of loss, but faith thunders with supply. Choose faith, for faith is stronger than any circumstance. Replace every thought of lack with a word of power. Say, "There is no lack in divine mind. My supply is endless." Each affirmation chisels away the false walls of limitation, until only freedom and wealth remain. And be grateful, oh, so grateful. Gratitude unlocks the vaults of heaven. Give thanks before the harvest, and the harvest must appear. Gratitude is the golden magnet that draws increase to every area of your life. Remember, money is not toil, not struggle. Money is energy, pure and flowing, eager to serve your divine purpose. It comes to the one who listens within, who obeys the whisper of intuition, who walks in fearless expectancy. Release every resentment. Forgive freely, for resentment is the chain that binds your supply. When you forgive, the chain breaks, and prosperity flows like a river. Now, live in joyous expectation. Act as though the money is already here. Speak as though it is already yours. Move through the world as a magnet for riches, and you shall prove that the law of supply never fails. Beloved, the secret formula is not hidden. It is in your words, your faith, your gratitude, your vision, and your forgiveness. Align with these eternal principles, and unlimited money will come, not by chance, but by divine law. The doors of abundance stand open. Step through them and claim your inheritance, for it is your divine right to prosper. It is your birthright to live in wealth, freedom, and joy, and so it is. The divine law of supply is absolute, eternal, and unchanging. It is the great river of abundance that flows ceaselessly from the infinite source, and every living soul is meant to drink freely from its waters. To understand this law is to understand that poverty, lack, and limitation are illusions of the mind, false shadows cast by fear and ignorance. In truth, there is no lack in divine mind, and therefore there can be no true lack in the life of the one who aligns with this eternal principle. All supply already exists in the unseen, waiting for your recognition, waiting for your claim. Look about you and see the evidence of this law in nature. The stars do not ration their light. The sun does not measure its rays. The ocean does not count its drops before giving to the shore. The apple tree does not begrudge the apple. It yields in season without hesitation. Everywhere the law of supply is demonstrated in abundance, multiplication, and overflow. Why then should you believe that money, which is but a symbol of energy, should be scarce? The same infinite mind that paints the fields with countless blades of grass is the same mind that supplies your every need. Lack begins in consciousness, never in reality. A man may believe himself poor, though surrounded by opportunities, and his belief creates a wall through which supply cannot pass. Another man may believe himself rich, though his purse is empty, and his faith opens doors where none seem to exist. This is the divine law of supply at work. The outer world mirrors the inner world. If you hold thoughts of insufficiency, you will see insufficiency. If you affirm abundance, you will find abundance appearing in strange and marvelous ways. Money is not the source, it is the effect. Too many people chase the effect and forget the cause. They run after coins and bills, thinking those scraps of paper hold power. But money is merely a shadow cast by the true substance, and that substance is thought aligned with divine mind. If you wish to increase your wealth, do not chase shadows. Turn to the light. The light is faith, gratitude, vision, and right words. Speak abundance and money will follow. Think abundance and supply must manifest. Believe abundance and circumstances will bow before your conviction. There is no such thing as lack in the universe, only blocked channels. A river may be dammed, but the water is still flowing, pressing, eager to burst forth. So too with the river of supply. Fear, doubt, and negative speech place the stones of resistance across the stream. Faith, gratitude, and positive declaration remove the stones and let the current rush freely once more. The supply is already flowing. You need only clear the way. Consider the lilies of the field. They neither toil nor spin, yet they are clothed in beauty greater than kings. Why? Because they rest in the law. They do not struggle to bloom, they simply open to the sun. In the same way, you need not strive or grasp or compete. You need only rest in the assurance that your supply is secure in divine mind. Open yourself to the law, and it will clothe you, feed you, prosper you in ways beyond imagination. Many fear that if they claim abundance, they are selfish. But selfishness comes not from abundance, but from lack. The poor spirit clings and hoards because it believes there is not enough. The prosperous spirit gives and shares because it knows there is always more. True wealth is generous, radiant, and multiplying. When you align with the law of supply, you become a channel of blessing to others, and the more you give, the more flows back to you. This is the cycle of divine circulation. What you release returns multiplied. What you withhold withers. To live in harmony with this law is to live in perpetual increase. Speak to yourself words of power. Declare, the divine supply is endless and it flows to me now. Money comes to me in perfect ways, under grace. I am connected to the inexhaustible riches of the universe. Do not beg, do not plead, for begging admits lack. Instead, claim boldly as a child claims its inheritance, for abundance is your birthright. It is not granted to a select few. It is the heritage of every soul, for we are all children of the infinite, heirs to the kingdom of supply. Fear has told you lies. Fear has said, there is not enough. You may lose what little you have. You must struggle, compete, and worry. But faith speaks the truth. Faith says, my supply is secure. What is mine cannot be taken from me. The universe is friendly and abundant, and I am always provided for. Which voice will you believe? The voice of fear leads to bondage, but the voice of faith leads to freedom. Do not measure your supply by appearances. Appearances are deceptive shadows. You may open your purse and see few coins, but do not call yourself poor. Instead, declare the truth. The riches of divine supply are already mine, and they appear now. This declaration releases the substance of abundance from the unseen into the seen. Appearances change, truth remains. Hold to truth, and appearances must eventually align. Supply often comes in ways unexpected. Do not limit the channel. Money may come through work, through gifts, through sudden opportunities, through ideas, through miracles beyond explanation. Do not say, this is the only way I can be provided for. Such thinking shuts the door on countless possibilities. Say instead, my supply comes from divine source, and it reaches me through the perfect channel at the perfect time. Then watch as life surprises you with its infinite creativity. Remember always, the law of supply is not created by you. It already is. You do not invent it, you align with it. You do not manufacture abundance, you recognize it. You do not force prosperity, you allow it. The law is eternal, impartial, unfailing. Just as gravity never falters, just as the sun never ceases to shine, so the law of supply never fails. It is we who must shift into harmony with it, for the law itself is flawless. Today, release every thought of lack. Release every word of poverty. Release every belief that says you must struggle to survive. Replace them with words of wealth, thoughts of abundance, beliefs of infinite supply. Say it until you believe it until you see it until you live it. This is the divine law of supply in action. And once you prove it for yourself, you will know that abundance is not a dream, not a wish, but a law as real as life itself. The spoken word is the most powerful tool given to humanity, for it is not mere sound. It is a creative force, a command to the unseen, a decree that molds substance into form. From the beginning of time, words have carried divine authority. Let there be light, and light appeared. In the same way, when you speak with conviction, the universe responds. Every word uttered with faith is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious, and that seed must bring forth after its kind. Yet many live unaware of this sacred power. They speak carelessly, scattering words of lack, fear, and defeat, and then wonder why their lives bear bitter fruit. They say, "I am always broke, I never have enough, nothing works out for me." And the law of mind simply obeys. It hears no jest, it knows no sarcasm. It only takes the words as orders and fulfills them with precision. How important, then, to speak with awareness, to speak words that uplift, heal, and prosper. For the mouth is the doorway of destiny, and the words you speak today construct the reality you walk into tomorrow. Think of your words as invisible architects. Each phrase you declare sketches blueprints upon the invisible substance of life. If you speak limitation, your architect designs small, narrow rooms of confinement. If you speak abundance, your architect drafts palaces filled with wealth, beauty, and light. Which architect shall you employ? The choice is yours in every moment you open your mouth. Affirmations are not empty phrases, they are spiritual commands. When you declare, "Money flows to me in perfect ways under grace," you are not hoping or wishing, you are issuing an order to the unseen forces of supply. Those forces begin to move, aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances to bring your decree into manifestation. The more faith you pour into your words, the swifter and more powerful their fulfillment. Words charged with conviction carry the lightning of creation. Consider also the destructive power of words. A single careless phrase can cut off channels of supply. To say, "I can't afford this," is to instruct the subconscious to block abundance. To say, "I always get sick," is to direct the body to weaken. To complain daily is to program the mind for failure. Every complaint is a prayer for more of the same. Every word of fear is an invitation for fear to grow. Guard your lips as you would guard treasure, for they hold the keys to fortune or famine. The tongue is a rudder steering the ship of life. Though small, it determines the course of the whole. You may find yourself in a storm of difficulties, yet with a shift of words, you can turn the entire vessel toward calm waters. Declare, "I am divinely guided, I am abundantly supplied, I am strong and victorious." And slowly but surely your ship obeys. The storm may rage, but your rudder is set, and destiny must follow. Faith-filled speech does not deny appearances, it transcends them. You may see bills piling, but you say, "My supply is endless, and it appears now." You may feel weak, but you say, "I am strong in spirit, and strength floods my body." To the unbeliever, this seems foolish, but to the one who knows the law, it is wisdom, for appearances are shadows, and words are substance. Speak substance, and shadows must rearrange themselves. Do not only speak for yourself, speak blessings upon others. Say, "May abundance overflow in your life, may health be your portion, may peace guard your mind." Every blessing spoken returns multiplied. In lifting others with words, you lift yourself. The universe is a mirror. What you decree for another reflects back upon you. Thus, words of envy or criticism harm both speaker and target, while words of kindness enrich both. Practice daily the discipline of the spoken word. Begin your mornings with affirmations of power. Today, I walk in abundance. Today, money flows freely. Today, every step I take is ordered toward success. Let these words set the tone of your day. In the evening, Give thanks aloud for the supply received, however small, for gratitude magnifies increase. Speak gratitude before sleep, and you will rise with new doors opening before you. Words are living vibrations. They linger in the atmosphere, attracting like unto like. If you fill your environment with words of faith, prosperity, and joy, you create a magnetic field that draws good to you. If you saturate the air with doubt and despair, you attract more of the same. Choose your atmosphere wisely. Speak light, and you will dwell in light. Remember, silence is better than destructive speech. If you cannot speak words of faith, hold your tongue until you can. Better to be silent than to decree lack into being. But once faith rises, speak boldly without hesitation. Do not whisper your good, declare it. Do not ask timidly, command with authority. The universe respects a voice filled with certainty. Let every word you speak be a declaration of truth. Say it when you feel it, say it when you do not. Say it in joy, say it in trial. The repetition chisels truth into the subconscious until it becomes unshakable, and when truth is rooted within, it must express without. Your words are the bridge between thought and reality, between invisible and visible, between promise and fulfillment. Walk that bridge daily, and soon you will find yourself living in the palace you once spoke into being. The spoken word is not a small matter. It is the very breath of creation flowing through you. Use it carelessly, and you chain yourself to poverty. Use it wisely, and you unlock treasures without measure. The power is already yours. Align your words with faith, with abundance, with divine truth, and nothing can withhold the riches prepared for you. Imagination is the workshop of the soul, the secret chamber where the blueprints of tomorrow are drawn. Before a building rises, there must be a plan. Before a song is sung, there must be a melody conceived in the mind. Before wealth appears in the outer world, it must be shaped within by the artist called imagination. Every fortune ever amassed, every empire ever built, every masterpiece ever created began as a picture in the mind. Thus, if you would attract money and abundance, you must first master the creative power of imagination. What you imagine with feeling, you magnetize. The images you dwell upon are not idle pictures. They are living seeds impressed upon the subconscious. The subconscious does not distinguish between reality and imagination. It only obeys the pattern it is given. If you give it pictures of debt, struggle, and lack, it faithfully produces circumstances to match. If you feed it images of wealth, freedom, and abundance, it brings those into manifestation with equal precision. Imagination is the blueprint, and life builds according to its pattern. Many sabotage their prosperity by rehearsing failure in the theater of their mind. They see bills piling, opportunities slipping away, doors closing. They imagine rejection, scarcity, and disappointment, and then they live out the very script they wrote in secret. Understand this. The images you hold are not harmless daydreams. They are instructions written upon the law of mind, and that law never forgets. To change your life, change your inner pictures. See differently, and you will live differently. Imagination is not fantasy, it is prophecy. What you picture with faith and persistence sets the stage for your future. The wealthy man was once a poor man who saw himself rich in the inner world. The healthy woman was once bedridden, but saw herself walking in strength long before her body obeyed. The victorious soul was once defeated, but envisioned triumph until defeat crumbled. This is the alchemy of imagination. It turns invisible pictures into tangible reality. Do not limit your imagination to small things. Dare to picture yourself with more than enough. See your bank account overflowing, your debts cleared, your home filled with beauty, your life free to give generously. If you cannot imagine it, you cannot claim it. If you dare not see it, you cannot live it. The universe does not resent your grand visions. It delights in them. For in imagining great wealth, you honor the infinite abundance of the source. Small thinking insults the law of supply, but bold imagination magnifies it. When you imagine, feel it as real. Do not watch from a distance like a spectator step into the picture. Smell the leather of the new car, feel the softness of the fine clothes, hear the laughter of prosperity ringing in your home. The more vividly you imagine, the more deeply the impression is made upon the subconscious, and the deeper the impression, the sooner the manifestation. To imagine weakly is to sketch faint lines. To imagine vividly is to carve the blueprint in stone. Guard your imagination as you would guard a treasury, for it is wealth in seed form. Do not pollute it with pictures of fear, violence, or misery. The mind, once impressed, will reproduce whatever is planted. Surround yourself with beauty, inspiration, and images of success. Fill your eyes and ears with that which lifts and expands. Close the door to pictures of lack, for they are thieves that break into your treasury and steal your fortune. Imagination works hand in hand with faith. Faith is the substance that animates the picture. A vision without belief fades like mist, but a vision infused with faith burns into reality. Say to yourself, "What I see within must appear without. The picture I hold is more real than the appearances before me." Hold to the vision even when circumstances contradict it. Appearances are temporary shadows. Imagination is the enduring mold. When the shadows shift, the mold remains, and sooner or later, life must conform. You may ask, how long must I hold the vision? Hold it until it holds you. At first, you may feel like you are forcing the image. But in time, the image becomes natural, effortless. It rises unbidden, saturating your thought. At that moment, manifestation is near, for the subconscious has fully accepted the pattern. The outer world is but a delayed reflection of the inner. Once the inner is saturated, the outer must follow. Imagination is the bridge between desire and possession. Desire says, "I want." Imagination says, "I have." Desire yearns. Imagination enjoys. Desire waits. Imagination lives now. And because the law of mind responds to what is accepted as real, imagination transforms desire into fulfillment. Live in the feeling of already having, and life will rush to make it so. Let no one discourage your vision. Others may mock, saying, "Be realistic," but realism is often another word for bondage to appearances. The dreamers of today are the achievers of tomorrow, and their imagination is their crown. Stand firm in your vision. Do not lower it to fit the smallness of another's thought. Lift it high and walk toward it with certainty, for the world belongs to those who dare to imagine boldly. Use imagination not only for personal wealth, but also for the blessing of others. See your loved ones prosperous, healed, and joyful. See your community thriving, your world uplifted. As you imagine abundance for others, you align with the universal current of generosity, and that current flows back to you multiplied. The richest imagination is one that includes the good of all, for the universe favors circulation, not hoarding. Imagination is divine language. It is the way spirit whispers possibilities to the soul. When you picture prosperity, you are not inventing something foreign. You are tuning into what already exists in infinite mind. Every image of wealth that comes with joy and peace is an echo of divine reality. By holding it, you bring it into visibility. Imagination is not creation out of nothing. It is revelation of what already is. So discipline your imagination. Let it not wander aimlessly into fear and lack. Train it as a master trains a horse, guiding it always toward abundance, joy, and success. The more disciplined your imagination, the more precise your manifestations. Loose imagination breeds chaos. Directed imagination builds empires. Remember always, you are the architect of your life, and imagination is your pencil. Every line you draw in thought becomes a wall, a door, a window in the house of your experience. Draw small rooms of lack, and you will live in confinement. Draw vast halls of wealth and generosity, and you will dwell in splendor. The house you live in tomorrow is being drafted in your mind today. Use your imagination wisely, and your wealth will have no limit. Faith is the golden key that unlocks every door of abundance, while fear is the shadow that bars the way. Both faith and fear are invisible forces, and yet they shape destinies with equal power. Faith builds, fear destroys. Faith opens channels, fear clogs them. Faith says, all things are possible, while fear whispers, you will fail. Which master you obey determines the course of your life, for you cannot serve both at once. Either you walk in the radiant light of faith, or you stumble in the cold corridors of fear. Fear is the great thief. It steals courage, it steals opportunities, it steals prosperity. Many lives are barren not because supply was absent, but because fear kept the gates closed. A man may have talent, yet fear tells him, you are not enough. A woman may have vision, yet fear hisses, you will not succeed. They bow to the whisper, and their gifts remain buried. Fear paints false pictures of loss, and when believed, those pictures become lived reality. Thus, fear is not only a liar, it is a creative liar, producing in substance what it first suggested in imagination. Faith, however, is the great liberator. Faith stands before the same circumstance and declares, though I see lack, I know abundance is mine. Though I hear doubt, I know truth will prevail. Though the path is dark, I know the light is near. Faith is not blind, it sees more deeply than the eyes. It sees into the unseen, into the eternal law where supply already exists in fullness. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you walk in faith, you walk in proof before manifestation arrives. Fear shrinks the soul, faith expands it. Fear says, hold back, conserve, hoard, protect. Faith says, give, trust, release, and more will come. Fear makes one grasp tightly at crumbs. Faith opens hands to receive loaves. Fear closes doors with its suspicion. Faith opens doors with its expectation. The very atmosphere around a fearful person repels opportunities, while the atmosphere of one filled with faith is magnetic, drawing wealth, health, and blessing. When you feel fear rise, speak against it. Say aloud, I refuse to believe in loss. I refuse to accept defeat. I am a child of infinite supply, and all things are working together for my good. Speak it even if your knees tremble. The voice of faith has authority, and fear cannot stand long against it. Words of truth spoken boldly scatter fear as sunlight scatters shadows. Shadows are not substance. They only seem real until the light shines. So it is with fear. It seems mighty until faith rises and dissolves it. Faith does not mean you never feel fear. Faith means you do not bow to fear. You may feel the cold breath of doubt on your neck, but you stand and declare, I will move forward anyway. Every step taken in faith weakens fear's grip. Every victory won by faith makes the next battle easier. Fear retreats from those who refuse to listen. It grows only when fed by attention. Deny it food, and it starves. Feed faith instead with affirmations, gratitude, and vision, and it grows mighty enough to move mountains. Faith is practical. It does not sit idly and wait for miracles. It acts boldly, trusting that the path will appear. Fear hesitates, saying, what if I fail? Faith acts, saying, what if I succeed? Fear waits for perfect conditions. Faith begins where it is. Fear counts its weakness. Faith counts its source. Fear looks at the giants and turns away. Faith looks at the giants and runs forward with victory already ringing in its heart. Money, like all supply, responds to faith. The fearful say, there is not enough, the times are bad, opportunities are scarce. And so scarcity multiplies for them. The faithful say, my supply is endless, opportunities are everywhere, the universe is abundant. And so abundance rushes toward them. Faith magnetizes money, fear repels it. Money, being energy, flows to those who trust in its presence and runs from those who believe in its absence. Faith is contagious. When you stand in faith, others feel it. Your confidence inspires them to open doors, to trust you, to invest in you. Fear, too, is contagious, spreading doubt and hesitation. A fearful business leader breeds fearful employees, and the enterprise falters. A faithful leader radiates assurance, and the enterprise thrives. Therefore, Guard your atmosphere. Surround yourself with voices of faith, books of faith, songs of faith. Let nothing feed your fear. Gratitude is the twin of faith. To thank before the blessing appears is to declare faith in its certainty. Fear waits until the harvest is visible before rejoicing. Faith gives thanks when the seed is still in the soil, knowing the harvest must come. Gratitude waters the seed of faith, hastening its growth. Begin and end each day with thanksgiving, and fear will find no foothold in your soul. Do not confuse faith with arrogance. Arrogance trusts the self alone. Faith trusts the divine source. Arrogance boasts in its own strength. Faith boasts in the unfailing law of abundance. Arrogance collapses when challenged. Faith stands unshaken, for its foundation is eternal. The truly faithful are humble, for they know they are channels, not creators. They receive supply to bless others, not to exalt themselves. Fear makes one hoard, arrogance makes one boast, faith makes one give. To walk in faith is to live above circumstances. You may see famine, yet you declare feast. You may see desert, yet you declare river. You may see closed doors, yet you declare open gates. This is not denial, this is higher vision. Faith looks through appearances to the truth behind them. And because faith holds the truth unwaveringly, appearances must eventually shift to match. Fear will always attempt to return. It knocks at the door daily, but you need not invite it in. Let it knock and pass. Keep your gaze on faith. Keep your lips speaking words of abundance. Keep your heart filled with gratitude. Each day lived in faith builds a fortress that fear cannot enter. In time, you will find that the very things that once terrified you now bow before your confidence. Faith is not a fragile thing. It is the strongest force on earth when rooted in truth. Fear may roar like a lion, but faith stands calm, knowing the lion is chained. Fear may thunder like a storm, but faith rests, knowing the sun will break through. Fear may whisper of poverty, but faith laughs, knowing wealth is already on its way. Faith is courage clothed in certainty, strength clothed in trust, abundance clothed in expectation. Therefore, choose this day whom you will serve. Will you serve fear, the liar, the thief, the robber of dreams? Or will you serve faith, the liberator, the builder, the opener of doors? Life will mirror your choice. Fear leads to closed gates and empty hands. Faith leads to open gates and overflowing supply. Fear chains, faith frees. Fear diminishes, faith multiplies. Choose faith and you choose abundance. Choose faith and you choose life without limit. Choose faith and money, health, and joy will come rushing to meet you, for the universe always responds to faith. Faith and imagination are the twin architects of prosperity, the silent builders that construct the unseen before it is seen, the intangible before it is tangible. Everything you desire, whether wealth, success, or fulfillment, exists first as a thought, a vision, an image held in the inner chambers of your mind. The fortune you seek is not locked in a vault somewhere outside of you. It is locked within the pictures you choose to sustain and the faith you dare to hold on to. Without imagination, the mind becomes barren soil. Without faith, the seed cannot sprout. Together, faith and imagination create a force so magnetic that money and opportunity cannot help but be drawn toward it. Consider for a moment the sculptor. Before a single strike of the chisel, the masterpiece already exists in his mind. He does not wait for the marble to tell him what to carve. He tells the marble what it shall become. In the same way, you must hold a clear, unwavering image of wealth in your inner world, even when your outer world seems to contradict it. The bank account may whisper of scarcity, the bills may shout of lack, but faith replies with calm assurance, I already see my abundance, and it is coming. That unwavering belief is the chisel that shapes reality into the form of your imagination. Faith does not ask how, it does not bow to logic, fear, or limitation. It simply knows. It rests in certainty that the supply is infinite and that you are connected to that supply. The imagination gives form to this certainty. If you dare to picture yourself free, prosperous, and abundant, and you clothe that picture with the conviction of faith, then you have already set into motion the law that governs wealth. Money, opportunities, resources, and allies begin to align themselves with your vision, because the invisible blueprint has been drawn. The outer world is only the construction site. The inner world is the architect's table. Too many people sabotage themselves because they imagine disaster while praying for success. They plant seeds of lack but expect a harvest of abundance. They say they want wealth, but in their minds they rehearse debt, difficulty, and delay. Faith cannot work on confusion. It requires clarity. The imagination must be held steadily, not wobbling between pictures of poverty and prosperity. To harness the secret formula, you must discipline the mind as carefully as a gardener tends his soil. Pull out the weeds of doubt and plant only the images you wish to harvest, then water them daily with faith. Money is not your enemy, nor is it your master. It is a servant waiting to obey the commands of your faith-filled imagination. But it does not respond to fear or desperation. Fear repels, faith attracts, desperation blinds, imagination illuminates. When you picture yourself rich in experience, rich in opportunities, rich in joy, and you believe without a shadow of doubt that this picture is your reality, in progress, then money begins to flow in ways that appear miraculous. But they are not miracles, they are the natural results of universal law. The secret is to act as though your vision is already fulfilled. Speak as if abundance is present. Think as if prosperity is inevitable. Walk into every situation clothed in the invisible garment of wealth, and you will find doors opening where once there were only walls. The world must conform to the blueprint of faith and imagination, because that blueprint is etched into the deepest laws of creation. Wealth cannot help but find the one who already lives as though it is done. Faith and imagination are not reserved for the chosen few. They are the inheritance of all. The child imagines effortlessly, the dreamer believes without resistance, and the visionary sees beyond what is. You too must reclaim this power. Each day you have the chance to choose the image you hold and the faith you nurture. You can choose pictures of lack, or you can choose pictures of plenty. You can water weeds, or you can water seed. Whichever you choose, the harvest is certain. That is why imagination and faith are the true secret formula, the eternal keys to unlocking unlimited money. Hold fast, then, to the pictures of prosperity. Let no doubt, no fear, no external circumstance shake your faith, for the world you live in tomorrow is already being drawn in the unseen realm today. When faith and imagination join hands, nothing can prevent wealth from flowing to you. Stand boldly, envision clearly, and believe unwaveringly, for in that union lies the blueprint of riches, the silent formula that has always governed the flow of money. And once you understand it, you will never again be a victim of chance, but a conscious creator of abundance. Words are seeds, and every word you speak carries the power to create. The wealth you desire is not only born in your thoughts, but spoken into existence through your affirmations. Money is not merely drawn to effort, it is summoned by vibration, and words are the carriers of that vibration. Every sentence you utter is either a declaration of abundance or a prophecy of lack. The tongue, though small, has the power to shift your entire destiny. When you learn to speak with intention, you align your life with prosperity. Consider how often people sabotage themselves unknowingly. They say, "I can't afford this," or "money never stays with me," or "I'm always broke." These words are not harmless. They are commands, instructions sent out into the world. And the universe, ever obedient, returns to them the reality they have spoken. If you declare poverty, poverty answers. If you affirm scarcity, scarcity comes. But if you proclaim wealth, wealth must find its way to you, because your words open the door through which money walks. Affirmations are not empty chants. They are the language of creation. To say, "I am wealthy, I am prosperous, I am surrounded by abundance," is to clothe yourself in the garment of riches before they are visible. At first, the outer world may mock you. It may look the same, the bills may still sit on your desk, the bank account may still show a balance you wish were greater. but hold firm. Speak the words as though they are already true, because on the unseen level they are. The words you repeat with faith imprint themselves upon your subconscious, and the subconscious is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It does not question, it only obeys. Feed it affirmations of wealth, and it will construct a reality to match. Do not take this lightly. Every word carries a vibration, and vibrations attract. Words of gratitude attract blessings. Words of joy attract opportunities. Words of wealth attract money. When you begin to speak abundance consistently, you begin to magnetize it. The law cannot be broken. What you affirm, you attract, but consistency is key. One cannot sprinkle a seed and expect a harvest overnight. You must water your affirmations daily, speak them with conviction, and refuse to cancel them out with careless speech. Guard your tongue as you would guard a treasure chest. Never use it to complain, never use it to curse your finances, never use it to confirm the lack you wish to escape. Replace every negative declaration with a positive one. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," declare, "It is easily within my reach." Instead of saying, "Money slips away from me," affirm, "Money flows to me in rivers and remains with me." These are not mere words. They are keys that unlock unseen doors. With each affirmation, you tune your life to the frequency of wealth. The greatest wealth builders in history have understood this truth. They spoke success long before it appeared. They affirmed riches when others saw lack. They declared abundance in the face of impossibility, and in time their words became their world. So it is with you. The words you choose today shape the money you will see tomorrow. Your affirmations are not idle chatter. They are the silent contracts you sign with the universe. Speak with authority, speak with faith, speak with imagination. Let your words be filled with conviction, for when they are, they carry power. Say aloud, "Money comes to me easily and abundantly. I am a magnet for prosperity. Every dollar I spend returns multiplied. I live in overflow." Say it not as a plea, but as a fact, not as a wish, but as a decree. And as you affirm, believe. The union of word and faith is irresistible. Nothing can prevent wealth from answering such a call. Remember this, your outer life is always a reflection of your inner language. If you wish to change what you see, you must first change what you say. Align your tongue with abundance, and soon your bank account, your opportunities, your circumstances will align as well. Words are your greatest tool, your unseen currency, your first deposit into the bank of prosperity. Use them wisely, and money will always follow. Gratitude is the golden key that unlocks the treasure house of abundance. It is not merely a polite response to blessings already received. It is the very vibration that attracts blessings yet unseen. When the heart overflows with gratitude, it radiates a frequency that draws money, opportunities, and prosperity as surely as a magnet draws iron. The one who is thankful for even the smallest gift prepares himself to receive greater gifts, for the universe always multiplies where appreciation dwells. Too many people live in complaint, rehearsing their lack, magnifying their struggles, and feeding their dissatisfaction. They say, "I don't have enough," and the law answers, "So be it." They focus on debts, and more debts appear. They dwell on what is missing, and more absence is supplied. But gratitude shifts the energy entirely. To look at a single coin and say, "I am thankful," is to summon an avalanche of coins. To bless the little you have is to multiply it, for gratitude turns scarcity into sufficiency and sufficiency into overflow. Think of gratitude as the sunlight that nourishes the seeds of your affirmations and visions. Without it, the soil grows cold, the harvest stalls, and the dreams remain dormant. With it, growth accelerates, fruit ripens, and abundance comes rushing forth. Gratitude is not passive, it is active, creative, magnetic. Each thankful thought, each whispered thank you, each heartfelt recognition of good already present sends out a signal that more good is welcome, more wealth is desired, more prosperity is prepared for. Gratitude is also the great cleanser of fear. When you are thankful, you cannot simultaneously be anxious. When you count blessings, you cannot dwell on curses. When you celebrate the provision of today, you are free from worrying about tomorrow. This inner peace opens the channels through which money flows. Fear tightens the hands, but gratitude opens them wide to receive. A closed fist cannot take in more, but an open hand, raised in thanks, is ready for unlimited supply. Consider how powerful it is to give thanks before the harvest even appears. To say, "I am grateful for the wealth that is already on its way," is to declare trust in the unseen. Gratitude in advance is faith in motion. It tells the universe, "I know my prosperity is certain, and I celebrate it now." That joyous expectancy pulls the future into the present, collapsing the distance between desire and manifestation. The thankful heart is always rich, even before the riches arrive. Money responds to gratitude as surely as plants respond to rain. The grateful person attracts benefactors, opportunities, ideas, and resources because gratitude is attractive. People are drawn to those who radiate appreciation, just as wealth is drawn to those who honor even the smallest increase. To be thankful is to declare yourself ready for more. It is to say, "I see the good, I bless the good, and I expect the good multiplied." The law cannot deny such a declaration. So, begin today with gratitude on your lips and in your heart. Give thanks for every dollar in your possession, for every opportunity before you, for every lesson that shaped you. Give thanks for the unseen flow of money that is already on its way to you. As you walk in this attitude, you will notice the world itself rearranging on your behalf. Doors open, rivers of provision appear, and life begins to overflow. Gratitude does not wait for abundance to arrive. It creates the very conditions that abundance requires. The one who practices gratitude daily walks in continual wealth, for he is always in harmony with the law of increase. And as surely as night follows day, the grateful heart becomes the prosperous heart. Gratitude is not just good manners. It is the magnet for prosperity, the secret current that pulls money into your life with grace, joy, and ease. There is a divine law woven into the fabric of existence. What you give, you receive. This is not a suggestion, nor is it a moral ideal alone. It is a spiritual principle as unshakable as gravity. Money, like all energy, flows in cycles. To hold it tightly out of fear is to dam the river until it stagnates. But to give with joy, with faith, with generosity, is to set that river flowing, ensuring that it returns to you multiplied and refreshed. Giving is not loss, it is the surest investment in the wealth you desire. Many hesitate to give because they fear they will be left with less. But in truth, withholding creates lack, while releasing creates increase. Imagine a farmer who hoards every seed, refusing to plant for fear of losing them. He clutches his handful tightly, but his fields remain barren. Another farmer scatters his seed freely, trusting the soil, the rain, the sun. His fields overflow with harvest, and his barns cannot contain the abundance. So it is with money. What you give is not gone. It is planted, destined to return as a greater harvest. Giving also clears the channels through which prosperity flows. When you release money willingly, you affirm your faith in unlimited supply. You declare that you are not bound by fear of lack, but connected to an infinite source that never runs dry. Each gift becomes a testimony that you live by faith, not fear, and faith is magnetic to wealth. The open hand receives more than the clenched fist ever could. Money loves movement, and giving sets it in motion. Do not mistake this law as mere charity. Giving must be intentional, joyful, and rooted in belief. To give grudgingly is to plant in barren soil. To give resentfully is to block the flow. But to give with love, to give with expectancy, to give with the inner knowing that as I release, I receive, is to align yourself with the rhythm of abundance. And the universe, always faithful, multiplies your seed. Consider also that giving does not diminish your wealth, it expands your identity. When you give, you step into the role of the prosperous, for only the wealthy can give. Each act of generosity reaffirms the truth that you are not a beggar waiting for scraps, but a channel through which riches flow. This shift in identity transforms your relationship with money. No longer is it something to hoard or fear losing. It is something to circulate, confident that its return is assured. The one who gives unlocks doors of favor. Opportunities arise, connections are made, resources appear, all because generosity carries a vibration that calls forth increase. Money follows the cheerful giver as surely as rivers find their way to the sea. This is not superstition, it is spiritual law. Life mirrors back what you put forth. So money and money returns. So kindness and kindness abounds. So abundance and abundance multiplies. Do not wait for wealth before you give. Begin where you are with what you have and let your giving be an affirmation of faith. If you have a little, share a little. If you have much, share much. Each act of release is an invitation to greater inflow. Say within yourself, as I give, so shall it return to me multiplied. Let that be the spirit in which you circulate your money, and soon you will find that your harvest far exceeds the seed. The path to receiving is not in clinging, but in releasing. The hand that gives is the hand that receives, and the heart that trusts in the law of circulation never knows lack. When you align with this truth, you will see money not as a treasure to be guarded, but as a river to be guided, flowing in, flowing out, and always flowing back to you in greater measure. Giving, then, is not sacrifice but strategy, not loss but multiplication. It is the divine pathway to unlimited receiving. Fear and doubt are the silent thieves of wealth, the invisible chains that keep people bound to scarcity. They whisper, "You will never have enough. Money is hard to come by. What if you fail?" And those who listen to these voices find themselves paralyzed, unable to take the steps that lead to prosperity. Fear shuts the door to opportunity, while doubt locks it. Together, they block the flow of money and choke the growth of abundance. But there is a higher law, a greater power, that sets you free when you choose faith over fear, conviction over doubt. Money itself is not scarce, but fear convinces you that it is. The universe is filled with overflowing supply, yet many live as though lack were their only inheritance. Why? Because they believe the voice of fear more than the voice of faith. They rehearse failure in their minds, they picture bills rather than blessings, they allow doubt to rule their imagination. And since thought is creative, their fears become form, their doubts become destiny. The law cannot be fooled. It delivers what is consistently imagined and believed. But you are not a prisoner of fear unless you choose to be. Fear is only a shadow, a phantom with no substance. Doubt is merely the echo of past disappointments, not a prophecy of your future. The moment you decide to stand on faith, the chains begin to break. Say within yourself, I refuse to fear lack. I refuse to doubt my provision. I live in the certainty that money flows to me in perfect timing and in perfect ways. That declaration alone begins to shift the atmosphere. Fear flees where faith is spoken with authority. Courage in financial matters is not recklessness, it is trust. It is the unwavering knowing that opportunities will appear, doors will open, and money will come when you act in alignment with faith. Doubt looks for proof before it believes, but faith believes and then produces proof. Fear demands guarantees, but faith rests in divine certainty. The wealthy are not those who never feel fear. They are those who refuse to let fear dictate their actions. They step boldly forward, investing, creating, giving, and receiving, because they trust the law of abundance more than the illusion of scarcity. To overcome fear and doubt, you must train the mind as you would a wild horse. Replace every fearful thought with a vision of prosperity. Cancel every doubt with an affirmation of wealth. When fear whispers, "You can't," answer boldly, "I can, I will, I already do." When doubt says, "What if money doesn't come?" reply, "It is already here, on its way to me now." Your words, spoken with conviction, silence the noise of fear and redirect your focus toward abundance. Remember that fear contracts, but faith expands. Fear tightens your grip, but faith opens your hand. Fear leads to missed opportunities, but faith multiplies them. If you are to attract unlimited money, You must walk with the boldness of one who knows his supply is infinite. Refuse to shrink back. Refuse to let the shadows of fear dictate your steps. Stand tall in the light of faith and watch as opportunities, ideas, and resources gather around you. Every great fortune was once pursued in the face of fear. Every wealthy individual has battled the doubts of others and the whispers of their own mind. But those who rose did so because they chose to believe in abundance rather than lack. So must you. Fear will always knock, but you do not have to open the door. Doubt will always speak, but you do not have to agree. Align your mind with faith, align your vision with prosperity, and money will flow as surely as rivers flow to the sea. You were not born to live in fear of lack. You were born to walk in the certainty of abundance. Break the chains of doubt, silence the lies of fear, and declare with unwavering conviction, I am provided for. I am prosperous. Money comes to me with ease, in overflow, and without end. The moment you choose faith over fear, the floodgates of wealth swing wide open, and nothing can stop the prosperity that is yours by divine right. To live in true prosperity, one must move in harmony with the natural flow of wealth. Money, like water, is designed to circulate. It flows through channels of opportunity, through hands that give, through ventures that create value. When you align yourself with this flow, you discover that abundance is not something you chase, but something you attract. You become a vessel through which prosperity moves freely, always replenished, never running dry. Alignment begins with belief. If you believe money is scarce, you block its flow. If you believe money is hard, you create resistance. But when you believe that wealth is natural, that it belongs to you by divine right, you open the channels for it to move easily. The universe is already rich with supply, waiting to pour itself into the lives of those who are aligned. And alignment is not striving, it is allowing. It is standing in faith, acting with confidence, and trusting the unseen current that carries you toward prosperity. Living in alignment with wealth also means living with integrity. Money thrives in truth. Prosperity comes to the one who honors his word, who treats others with fairness, who creates value with honesty. Wealth gained through deception may glitter for a moment, but it soon slips away, for it is out of alignment with the eternal law of increase. But wealth rooted in integrity multiplies and sustains, because it resonates with the higher flow of life. Another key to alignment is joy. Prosperity is not meant to be a heavy burden. It is meant to flow with lightness. When you pursue wealth with fear, desperation, or greed, you create friction that slows its arrival. But when you walk in joy, when you celebrate every increase, when you see money as a playful and faithful servant, you magnetize it without struggle. Joy oils the gears of abundance, keeping the current smooth and effortless. To remain in alignment, you must also listen to intuition. The inner voice guides you toward opportunities and warns you of distractions. The flow of wealth is not random. It is guided, intelligent, purposeful. If you trust the whispers of your spirit, you will find yourself in the right place, at the right time, with the right people. Intuition is the compass that ensures you remain in the stream, rather than wandering into the deserts of lack. Alignment does not mean passivity. It is not sitting idly while hoping for riches to fall from the sky. It is active participation in the law of circulation, giving, creating, affirming, and expecting. Each action you take in faith strengthens the current, drawing more wealth to you. Every generous gesture, every bold step, every declaration of abundance places you more firmly in the river of prosperity. To live in alignment is to live without resistance. Release the fears, release the doubts, release the grip of control. Let money flow as it was designed to freely, abundantly, joyfully. Know that as it flows out, it returns. Know that as it circulates, it multiplies. Trust that you are not outside the flow, but a part of it, inseparably connected to the infinite supply. When you live in this awareness, wealth becomes not a struggle but a song, not a burden but a blessing. Stand in the stream of abundance with confidence. Believe in the flow, honor its laws, and move in step with its rhythm. The one who lives in alignment with wealth never fears lack, for he knows the river never runs dry. He does not chase money, it chases him. He does not beg for prosperity, it surrounds him. And in this alignment, he discovers the true secret. That prosperity is not a prize to be earned, but a current to be joined, a divine flow that never ceases.